Bing, 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 bing. Right. It's Tuesday, and sometimes we have the Redeemify thing at this time, and I kind of realized very sensibly I must prioritize, paid projects in order to feed my kids. So the NHS Wiki project, which we basically, I kind of did this whirlwind design sprint and got out a media wiki instance. And I realized in retrospect, what I probably should have done is had more meetings like this. I kind of just sort of said to people, oh, if you're interested, come into the what's it called, the Slack channel. And I did do, Lara and Pat did both join me for individual pieces, but they've kind of gone off and got busy with other things. So let me take us to the, or I can find it. I think I've got it here. I created a Trello board to manage things, and here it is. And I think I've sent you both access to it, but if I haven't, you can access it from this link. And so, we might kind of, we had this discussion on Monday, which is yesterday, the community meeting about, are we turning into a consulting organization? What's Agile Ventures about? What is it for? Where are we going? This is the first time we've done work for a government agency. It's sort of a healthcare oriented thing, and I think it fits into the twin goals of Agile Ventures, which are education and supporting good causes, particularly because the wiki itself is intended as a kind of a resource for this movement for social prescribing, which is all about connecting doctors with voluntary organizations in the local community and so on and so forth. So I think it's certainly seems to meet the goals from my point of view. Let me just ping this person. Say, can I do it in Teams? There you go. Yeah. So, as I was saying on Monday, I think. We're Agile Ventures, not coding ventures. Although coding is a lot about what we do, the thing that appealed to me when I was first seeing Dave and Amanda's course was the agile approach, and that high level thing, which, from my point of view, puts all these different things on the table, like TDD and so on and so forth, and having product owners and having discussions, stories which are all about having discussions with the people who need stuff. So. We've managed to get the wiki up. I guess what I don't have is I don't particularly have user stories that I wrote down. We had the kind of specification from the what are they called? From the NHS, and Pat and I had been going through a process of breaking that specification down into like line items of things that they needed. That's a document, and I'll share it with you. Well, while that's loading, I will grab the video link for this and put it in there. Bing, 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 bing. Bing, 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 bing. This is an NHS Wiki. Put the link in there in front of you. Right. And so I very purposely deleted a load of stuff on my computer so it would run a bit faster. But and suddenly sorry, it's just Google being slow. Here we go. So we've got candidate wikis. Oh. So as I was busy trying to manage all of the different things, I was kind of I had this big list, and I kind of got overwhelmed, and I was like, well, I need to have, you know, I was going like Trello, Pivotal Tracker. At the time, it didn't seem to be making sense to be particularly voting on these. They're like lots and lots of little chores, and I just wanted to get something up. So we're going to have this one. We're going to have candidate wikis. Gosh, that's being incredibly slow to load. What on earth is going on there? Here it comes. Right. So this was initially we were reviewing all of these wikis, which what was fascinating going into the actual offices of these NHS people where they're working on particular networks and particular laptops and so on, is that like these things, PBWorks, XWiki, I mean XWiki is was I think the leading candidate at one point, because it was had the nicest interface. It was happened to be Java, open source, but then none of the icons for these things would load on the NHS laptops, rendering them completely unusable. And in a fit of despair, I was like, oh gosh, what are we going to do here? Found that the Media Wiki, because they use background images instead of special icons, that actually worked. So this is the document. This tab here is where we had all the requirements from the people. I'll just send you this link. Going into the Google chat there. And so, we've got sort of the equivalent of user stories in here with, enable stakeholders to register and log into the system and so on. And we had the brief, and they're specifically paying for, something with this functionality to be hosted. And so the key ones were, basically build a wiki that people can log into. Then, provide a moderating function to, prevent people submitting inappropriate stuff, block users, email notifications, and then, our own branding and so on. And then this is the bit like going forward, they wanted, to have live data. They want us to be, giving ongoing marketing support and so on and so forth. Backups. I've got rolling backups running on Azure. Hey, Pat.
Hi there.
How's it going?
Good. You?
Yeah, not bad. Good. All the better for seeing you. Yeah, good to see you. I was just telling Matt and Michael all about the stuff we were doing in the spreadsheet here. And then we kind of added the other ones, like from this point on. Like what was clear to me from interacting with the stakeholders was that editing in a kind of media wiki syntax was going to be challenging, and so I'd initially selected things like XWiki because they had a nice WYSIWYG editor, and it turned out that MediaWiki also has a WYSIWYG editor, which we were able to deploy. And then there's sort of other things in, like after this point down in here, this is like nice to have, and things that I was kind of working out. Well, it's got to have, it's got to be secure, with an icon of this header in there, get it on the domain, and so on and so forth. So that after having sort of established that we could pretty much do all of that on a self-hosted MediaWiki, I tried to get other hosting services to provide these things, but they just weren't moving fast enough. So now, we kind of have the system up. I got through some key blockers, which are so this is the WYSIWYG editor. So that works. It uses this parsoid, like a node microservice, in order to work. It can be a little bit slow to load sometimes. I wonder if there's a performance issue there, but it is fairly consistently working even now on IE11 and on the NHS laptops, and working over HTTPS and on this, this particular domain here, and with the moderation package. That was the final block that we got around in the last few days. And where this kind of comes into, let's look at that one over here, where that kind of comes into the aspects of it that might make it interesting going forward is, in order to fix those series of technical issues, it's the moderation. The key thing that we're relying on is this moderation extension, which is a plugin for Wikipedia, which is not in use in Wikipedia, that basically anybody submits anything, and unless they're pre-approved, it holds onto that, and then those who are enabled as moderators can go in and say, yes, that's an appropriate edit, and allow it to be added. Now, the interesting thing is this guy, he's got his whole thing on GitHub, and the process of installing it is going into the MediaWiki extensions directory and git cloning down the master branch of that. And I open, with the various, turned out there were particular issues about the way in which his moderation package interacted with the visual editor, that's the WYSIWYG editor we're just looking at, on IE11. And so he's actually been really responsive in responding to, getting those things fixing. He's opened this new ticket based on a discussion about wanting to get like a browser testing or Selenium test suite set up to manage some of this. But he's been sort of pushing out his changes on master, and I've been pulling them directly into the production instance with a bit of high wire stuff, and it all seems to be working now. But I've kind of stopped and said, right, and so what I've been spending this week doing is building a second instance, which is now it's getting there. It's HLP Wiki. I've called it develop because we had another box that was sort of at the staging. So I haven't put the SSL on here yet, but I've got the graphics in there and all the other bits and pieces of packaging. So I'm hoping to move to a stage where other potential changes, and there's kind of like a backlog of little, issues and things, is that we can try them out on staging first, check that they work, and then put them to production. I had half a hope that maybe we could even run test suites, because there is a whole lot of Cucumber test suites and PHP unit tests for MediaWiki, but we're all warned, here be dragons, don't use them on any kind of production database, because they're they're sort of destructive and do crazy things and so on. So I'm a bit confused there. Anyway, sorry, big rambling introduction. Does any of that make sense? Any questions about any of that?
Yeah, where are you hosting the production and dev?
So that's it's on Azure, and
okay.
I used this thing called Bitnami, which I hadn't heard of before. Searching for, because there was a stage at which we thought, because the main website for the Healthy London Partnership is Drupal, and we're thinking, can we have a wiki plugin Drupal? And they're upgrading from 7 to 8, and no, you go and do your own thing. So I was then like, okay, how can we host MediaWiki? And there was a few providers, which I tried. But then these Bitnami guys, they have, I'm not sure what their business model is particularly, but they seem to have been going quite a while. There's lots of articles about how they've got a very switched on female CTO who or CEO, I think, who's running it all. And they basically provide these, stacks, instances. So you can see here, you can have, WordPress or Drupal or what's that, Redmine, Moodle, GitLab, Community Edition, LAMP stack, Mean stack. You can basically have, right, here's an image that will support something, and then you can get it deployed on any number of cloud services, including AWS, apparently Oracle, Azure. And so the process that I sign in here. So if you're signed in with a Bitnami account, you can basically link your, you can link your Bitnami account to your cloud hosting solution. So I've done that because with Azure, we've got, the credits from Azure. And then, what you can do is you can this is all of the other, got their own cloud hosting.
Wow.
You can basically take one of their stacks and then deploy that. So this is what the process that I did for getting the MediaWiki stack together is you go to the Launchpad, and then you basically, you can just say, I want to deploy this stack, whatever it is, to that particular cloud hosting platform. You tell it to do it, and it provisions you a box, and then it gives you the box and says, here's takes a little while to bring the box up. But, so if we go to the Azure instance, which I think most of you have got access to now. Let me go here. This is the dashboard there. Oh, so this one. Yeah, here we go. So here's the if we look at all the resources in our Azure account. So what it's done is the MediaWiki stack has been deployed in a like Linux box. What it's done, you can see here. I've got 3 of them now. Like develop, staging, production. This one is the live one. As a result of running the Bitnami script, it's created these, a MediaWiki, a cloud service, and a virtual machine in which it runs. And it sets up Apache, MySQL, and MediaWiki, and there's the whole stack.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
That's a different machine than you've got the voter on, right?
So the async voter is on this Doku VM down
It's
here.
a different Azure machine, right?
So the different Azure virtual machine.
Yeah. Yeah. I just didn't know you can see everything from one console, I guess.
Yeah, so this is the top level Azure thing. I mean, the funny thing is that with Doku, then we basically don't really manage anything from here because the Doku gives us that CLI. I think there is also there's an Azure PowerShell that potentially allows us to manage like all of these instances, but I haven't gone there yet. I'm gradually becoming more and more familiar and managing to work my way around Azure. I mean, which is there's things. I mean, like our costs are going up on Heroku. I don't know if we ever dare move website 1 to somewhere, but potentially, we could be making a saving by bringing things over here. I'm becoming more and more familiar with the Azure framework as particularly given that this, they give us $5,000 a year apparently in hosting. That's and it's in its Linux instances. And I was really one of the key blockers about 2 weeks ago was getting the SSL set up. And I was just thinking, oh gosh, Azure. And I was reading these things online about how SSL on Azure, what a pain. But turned out that I didn't have to do anything on Azure. It was, there was a couple of little changes in the ports or whatever, but it was all, I was just configuring Apache in the, so I've got here, like, basically to manage here I'm SSH'd into, this is the new kind of cloned production server, and I'm SSH'd in, and this is the local settings file for the MediaWiki, where I edit that to make changes and set it up and so on. And similarly, there's like Apache config, and I was basically played around with the Apache config and ran let's encrypt from the command line there, and it ultimately it wasn't a big deal. Getting the SSL to work with the visual editor was a bit of a nightmare, but yeah.
Nice.
Any other questions or thoughts about any of that?
It just reminds me I want to work on the voter with either Michael or the person's name I keep forgetting.
Raphael. Yeah, well, and I was just saying to Michael before, I think the async voter may now, so this, I've got this here, what I ended up doing is we've got this here, which is this DNS zone created. And so we can see here that production and staging, so that's production.asyncvoter.azurementors.org and staging.asyncvoter.azurementors.org are now both pointing to this instance here, and this instance here is the Doku VM.
So we just got to verify that they're actually separate
things. Yeah, and I think they might be. Yeah, so we need to verify. At the moment, if we go to those two things,
I didn't mean to sidetrack you. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll look at that in the meeting tomorrow. I'm optimistic, although we've been burnt so many times before. But yeah. So I guess in terms of the NHS Wiki and moving forward, it's kind of been deployed. They seem reasonably happy with it. I've got another meeting with the head guy in about 2 weeks. Although apparently he's now moving from this Healthy London Partnership into NHS England. Apparently this is very common in that they're constantly reorganizing where everybody is and moving all around. I guess to I don't know why, but anyway, that's the way it works. We've I guess, yeah, I've got to put in a invoice for the second part of the contract. But so we've kind of got the key things up. There are then, like niggling little things like, I think at the moment, if you create a page, it defaults to the basic editor. The visual editor is not working on iPad at the moment. They want, they occasionally go, well, we want to be able to like have iframe embedding, and there is a plugin for that would work. I think this is English. At the moment, it's doing American spelling rather than, can I now edit that? Needs to check for UK spelling. And yeah, so there's like ongoing maintenance of the thing and trying to sort of sort it out, like things they want to be able to upload to PDFs. I'm doing the moderation. There's kind of a lot of spam coming in, and maybe there needs to be some additional plugins to deal with that. The other thing that we're sort of contractually committed to do is to give them a monthly update in terms of the site activity and how it's being used. And we're supposed to be helping with the marketing, like so doing search engine optimization and so on. So I might start to add those things into here as well. And I guess what I should have been doing is maybe running meetings like this and setting up a board before. Does any aspect of this seem interesting to anybody? Is it stuff that anybody is interested in finding out more about or contributing to going forward, or does it seem like too run of the mill and too far away from that TDD stuff that we want to be doing?
If you're going to work with Google Analytics, I'd love to see that at least. But, that's for my. I wouldn't be able to help, but I.
Yeah, well, I'm very, very happy to give you access to that. And the same goes for everybody, but also for the analytics for the other sites. I think particularly with this, the interesting thing here actually is that we've got the Google Analytics set up, and we've got just go, is it the main one? Yeah, main one. Go back to the main page. With the plugin, we can actually see. Let's turn that on here. We can get the.
Oh,
go on, Michael.
I was just wondering, how long are you supposed to provide support?
So we're supposed to provide moderation support and these monthly reports for 2 years.
And that's part of the original budget?
And that's part of the original deal. And they had originally split the thing into two. There was like a part one and a part two. Part one is sort of build it, and part two is ongoing moderation. Although actually the part one says it includes the ongoing marketing and so on. And so it's not like a hugely generous budget for doing it. But if I think I did some back of the envelope. There's sort of like a similar amount to what we're getting from the DRE corporate sponsorship monthly over the course of the 2 years from this, in order to kind of keep on doing that if we split it up that way. So like from my point of view, I dedicate a certain amount of time each week to DRE. It's certainly what I've been thinking. Yeah, I should certainly dedicate as much time per week to this as I do to the corporate sponsor. But there's so many things that we could be doing. I could be spending my entire week, adding like Wiki, like the Wikipedia's got these lovely templates, moderation or suggested edits things and so on that could be set up and so on. But it's what's the word? It's not that generous, if you know what I mean. So
I'm just concerned about the analytics report. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, well, specifically what they want, they want like to know the number of users who use the site of a given month, and which parts of the site were they looking at, and that kind of stuff. I've got the list somewhere, but it's not. I think, and I posted actually the NHS Wiki channel fairly recently. See if I can find it.
So it's all stuff you would just get out of Google Analytics, basically.
Yeah. So
for them each month.
Let's have a look here. Yeah, So here, like
Yeah, there's
number of user
for
logins.
you to delegate that to somebody.
Could be. Yeah, ultimately. Yeah, like number of users that logged in who commented or added to the wiki, sections of resource received most activity, geographical location, role of user, information of promotion. So I think this is the other thing, is they want to know, like, what did we do to promote the wiki this month, kind of thing. And then, so this is what they've sketched out as wanting. And so I think it's up to us to, or I mean, you know, mine's the, you know, head on the line, so to speak. I mean, everybody else, I think, you know, can get. I guess what I had really hoped with paid projects was that we would have, you know, sufficient money to pay people for development, and so people could come in and they would get compensated for their time to do development. But this is, you know, it's you know, it's I think it's not practical to do that with the amounts of money that they're giving us here, and the majority of the money we'll picture have to go to the lawyers for writing our terms and conditions, and then I got paid for doing the design sprint, which is a lot of my time. But you know, it's potentially a loss leader. I mean, maybe it's an interesting technology stack or something to be involved in as a volunteer.
Doing a report. Does Google Analytics support custom reports? Or
I think it does. I mean, I've sort of been I've been extracting stuff from Google Analytics to create like our sponsorship report, and so on. And it's fairly straightforward to do. But yeah, we can see now. What's this? That's website one.
just if somebody could develop a custom report that satisfied them.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, I think it does. Is the number of users I'm looking at there suddenly much lower than usual? So website one production. Oh, it's only for a week. There we go. That's why I'm confused. If we go from 20 seconds. There we go. That's a kind of a month. 20 seconds. Let's do there. Yeah, I've been pulling out. Listen, yeah. So I mean, users. There are other things like it's got like the demographics. So once that's switched on, we can see both age and gender. I don't know how Google knows this. But yeah, so apparently this is our demographics website one.
They don't really know it. They just
and they're inferring it, aren't they? From I guess in some cases, haven't like people are logged in from their Google accounts and so on. I don't know.
Yeah.
well, even if someone's logged into their Google account, doesn't mean that
No, it doesn't mean it's true. No.
they can try to infer based on
Yes.
web search and stuff. What?
Yeah.
You can't infer by looking at somebody anymore.
What kind of stats are you getting since it went live in terms of visitors? Are you seeing anything? Any spike here?
Yeah, certainly there's some numbers. I mean, so here we've got the demographics I switched on there. I mean, this is if we look at this is the overview for the system. We can see. Let's have a come on. Scroll down. There we go. So this is here. So I think this was that was last. So this was the day that they did their announcement about it.
They actually produced a press release or something? What was the announcement?
Event related to social prescribing that various people were at, and the head guy kind of presented it there. And also on just before that day, I was sending it out. Like I interviewed about 15 different people from all like different stakeholders from different parts of London and different parts of the health organization and voluntary sector about this, and which was quite eye-opening. Yeah, so it's kind of gone out. I mean, there is now what we're supposed to be doing is coordinating with the communications department to have news stories and blog articles go out on their main website. But you can sort of see this. I'm not sure what we have. Also got a fair amount of bots coming in trying to post spam things, which are being handled by the moderation framework. But I'm not sure how that's affecting, the realism of these numbers in terms of the number of people who are actually looking at it.
We're supposed to provide moderation.
So, well,
At one point, I'm supposed to be
the whole package was these two bids that bidding on it, that we would either provide moderation or we would contract that out to somebody else.
Oh, I thought there was somebody at NHS that you said that had gotten sick. And
There was a person who is in Wellness Enterprise. So myself, and so in doing the bid to the NHS, myself and this guy, Steve, and his friend Mina, we actually sort of presented together over the phone doing it. And Mina is a specialist in social prescribing. And we were thinking, right, the moderation is going to require somebody to really knows the field well and would be able to kind of like say, is this an appropriate addition or not, right, to the wiki. Whereas the reality is actually coming into the, like, to be honest with you, I feel like I've, learned enough about the social prescribing to be able to easily tell whether something is an appropriate addition or not, and what the HL people they're saying to me, and we've talked about this before once, they don't particularly want someone to be coming in there and saying, oh no, when you say CCG you mean this, and actually you mean this. What they want is they want people who are posting inappropriate materials and so on to be blocked. And once, so we've got, for example, here, like, we can see that this is
and stuff.
That's spam, right?
Yeah. So basically, this is the moderation thing, and it doesn't. Oh, I was trying to look up the diff, wasn't I? But there's a diff, so I can see. It's like totally obvious that this is spam.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so at the moment, I'm just keeping an eye on this. I'm getting email notifications when people try and post stuff, and we've managed to keep the wiki spam free as a result of using this. Although at the moment, the number of like the you can see here, like that's there. Let me see the next 50. There's far more of the like spam bots than people actually posting new materials at the moment.
So do they have any metrics on success in terms of visitors and
well, they
stats?
only have they have no stats at the moment. We have the stats, and so we're under the obligation to provide those stats. I mean, I'm getting, having reached out to all the different stakeholders, I'm getting feedback from the stakeholders about the wiki.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the 250 there. Why is it only showing me those? But so I don't think they have any sense of its broader success at the moment. And the key thing will be is, does it have any kind of uptake in the over the coming months? What they have done here, if we have a look, so here, like, we've got, this is Jason Tong here. He's the key change manager at Healthy London Partnership, and so he spent a lot of time putting all the material from, they have a whole PDF document on social prescribing and putting that all in there. And then, for example, this person here, Mulash, that's one person who we trained, and she's come in and updated her page that she started on. This is a GP here, who has actually created a page on a completely new topic, which is, I think this is exactly what they're hoping for. He's saying that, so like, self-management skills, so let's take there, is kind of a critical portion of self-care and social prescribing, and he's coming in and offering a completely different perspective on this. And I think this is exactly the kind of thing that they want. And they want all the different kind of members of the community to kind of get involved and put those ideas in and start sharing those ideas. Whether they will have any significant number of people doing this in the long term is a big question mark.
Well, just wondering how it's going to turn out in the long. It'd be good to get their sense 2 or 3 months from now, the internal users, because I think the visual editor is great. It removes one of the kind of wonky aspects of Wikimedia itself, but other aspects of Wikimedia are a little wonkish, if you will, beyond the editing. So
Mhm.
how is it for the layperson who really doesn't have a lot of time to spend learning this stuff? How are they doing with using it? And
Yeah.
is it confusing to them? And when they're reviewing comments from colleagues, is that really clear what's going on to them, et cetera, et cetera?
Absolutely.
So it's not as polished and as easy as the commercial stuff that we looked at before,
No.
which is, brain dead, drop dead simple. This you really got to work at and spend some time with. So it'll be an interesting experiment to see how it turns out. If it works, it's a great platform that's applicable to other organizations too. We took, who's the guys in Germany, the Blue Sapphire?
Blue Spice.
Yeah, they took Wikimedia. They take basically this and they put a nice overlay on it to make it a lot
Right.
more accessible to the layperson. Where this is, we're just exposing the more wonkish aspects directly to the layperson. So the other thing is, I'm wondering if you're going to start getting inquiries from these folks about, gee, you IT guys, can you do this other thing for me? And we need something over here and all that. That would be an interesting thing to see as well.
Yeah, we are getting that, and I've put some of those things into the icebox, and I've said to them that, we'll look. And I did a kind of a complete report on the project, which I can share with you, which had my comments on that, and I was saying, basically, if they want any new features by a deadline, that will require a new contract, i.e. new payment.
No, I saw that. I'm thinking more, well, gee, these guys at Edge Ventures did this thing for us, this wiki. I need this bespoke application that does this thing for me.
Yeah.
Totally. And then we can get into our wheelhouse, which is, okay, we're going to spin up a Rails project here and build this thing for this person.
Yeah. No, well, that's that's what hopefully may come out of the meeting I have in 2 weeks with the big guy. Because he said originally, "I'll do a good job on this, and could be all sorts of other things for you." And he was really interested in local support, and he was like, "Well, that looks much better than this other thing that was built, by these other guys. We should get you to some more of that. How much does that cost?" And I said, "Well, if we were doing it, I said it'll be 20,000-30,000, whatever." And he was saying like, "Oh, okay." So who knows? Who knows where that goes from there? It's all talk until someone puts some money in your bank account, as I think we all know.
But you've got something that is very, very impressive to them. They couldn't do this in a million years. So you're kind of a demigod to them. And then what you need to do, of course, is just get past, if you want a brand new application from the ground up, then you're going to have to sell it, get them over the sticker shock and explain to them what it really takes. Like if they built this Wikimedia thing themselves or had somebody build it for them, you could tell they're benefiting from millions of dollars worth of development here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm just yes, and the other interesting wrinkle. I'm going to wrap up fairly soon. I was trying to find. I don't know if you're interested in reading the final report that I did on this stage of the project. Matt and Michael, I think it is the Slack channel. There's capable communities thing, which I mentioned in the professional development channel. That is by Steve, who happens to be trustee of the Adventures charity, and he's got money from central government to set up social prescribing in Harrow, which is our local area. And so the interesting thing I'm seeing, the interesting idea was, can we start to develop software for social prescribing, and then that would be used by lots of people. But I have just had a contact from this other group, and so there's there's some other running social prescribing things in other parts of London, and the what's he called? Yeah, this company who are called Promatica have some sort of software suite which is already being used by the other groups. And so I think that in some ways for this capable communities, basically there's the bid they've got for the website, which is actually the trivial thing, and then they've got the messaging solution, but actually they want a secure messaging solution, and there's no reason in particular. Well, I guess they'd love to drive people to their own website, but these guys, they do this management of GP and provider alerts through an efficient portal. And so these other guys are using who are doing social prescribing in other parts of London this is a piece of software that they're using to manage all the communication between the different groups. But looking at this is a group, and they've got, like, if you look at the team, doctors and lawyers and so on, they're like, these are people who are delivering software packages, particularly for healthcare in the UK. So yeah, this is kind of like what's the word? It makes me think, we're not going to be able to quickly build a software solution to compete directly with these guys necessarily. But, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll get them to give me a demo, and we will see if it's all what it's all cracked up to be. But yes. Oh, go on, Matt.
Do you briefly know the rationale behind social prescribing? Because, I mean, I agree, my doctor doesn't know everything, and
right.
Is that the so maybe people around me can help? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the idea that doctors are obviously great at providing medical and surgical advice, but that they, in some cases, some people have issues that are not necessarily addressed by medical or surgical help. And, maybe what they need is regular exercise or, access to a community of friends. And those are the things that will help them get over whatever it is they're going through at the moment. And the idea of social prescribing is that you have specialists who know about all of the activities and events and things going on in the local community. And that's the doctor could...
That's what I was missing, I think.
The doctor can kind of say, oh, you've been coming regularly, and, we've tried these things out, but it doesn't seem to have worked. Do you think would you be interested in trying a social prescriber? And if the patient says yes, then go and have sort of a sit-down chat with this person who's like the local community expert, and the local community expert finds something that's fun for them to do.
Yeah, well, like my insurance appointed me a care coordinator, so I could see them being using this.
Exactly. So I guess the thing is, if anybody is interested in, like, I think you've all got access to the Trello. If anybody's interested in helping me start to knock off some of these things, then that would be lovely. I'm going to continue to work this week on getting the sort of staging instance set up where we can like run some tests. Like, I think it was fairly clear from having the NHS people use the visual editor. Like, when you first start up with the visual editor, like from MediaWiki, they've got these sort of pop-ups that jump up, which I think were kind of really potentially valuable when it was first being used on Wikipedia itself and people getting used to the new thing. But if you're coming in as a new editor of this wiki and you're not, like, you don't need to be told that this is the, a difference from the existing MediaWiki syntax, because you don't even know what the MediaWiki syntax is. So anyway, I'm going to finish getting the instance set up and then work through these things. Yeah, no, that's probably about done there. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Any final questions? I'll go off for supper.
No, that was useful.
Not right now, but I'd like to keep track of what's going on.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, my plan is to keep doing these weekly updates, and yeah, hopefully we'll see what exciting things emerge.
Thank you.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.